Hello, good morning. Welcome to my channel, Koje's Yams Media. How are you doing today? I remain your boy, Ernest Adebayo Okoje. So today, we shall be discussing four references. Number one, Kamaru Usman, the Nigerian nightmare who fights in the UFC mixed martial arts. He recently lost. We shall be discussing that. We shall also be discussing Putin, Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, who has been declared by the International Criminal Court, who has been issued arrest warrant rather by the International Criminal Court. And then finally, we shall be talking the Fatinoye case, where the criminal who tried to assassinate the whole family, tried to wipe out the entire family, confessed how they went about their operation. Please stay tuned, don't go away. So let's start with Kamaru Usman, the Nigerian nightmare. We all know that when it comes to the UFC in Africa, in terms of representation, we have three dominant personalities, and those are Kamaru Usman, Israel Adesanya, and Francis Ngannou from Cameroon. But Kamaru Usman and Adesanya are from Nigeria. While Adesanya is Yoruba, Kamaru Usman is from Edo State, so he's my brother, and we all root for them anytime they are fighting. And over the weekend, during the weekend, while we were having our gubernatorial elections, he had a third fight with Israel, with Edward Leons, and it eventually went to the scorecards. That is, there was no knockout, so the judges would have to decide, and they gave it to Leon Edwards. I was not impressed. I was not happy about it, because if you watch the fight, you'll see that there were a lot of dirty tactics employed by Israel, by Edward Leons. Some may say that some of them were by accident, but you can't just have that many amounts of fouls and you call them accidents. Number one, there were low kicks where he will kick him in his groins, that is, he will kick him in his private parts. And sometimes there were, holding of gloves, that is, when they find themselves in a clinch, instead of trying to wrestle your way out of the clinch, he would place his fingers into our boy's gloves, that is Kamaru's gloves, thereby weakening his wrist and not making him to become effective in his takedown, bringing him down. But eventually, it is what it is. He won. Congrats to him. But I wish he didn't go that way. And that was their third fight, because they had their first fight in 2015. Kamaru Usman defeated him, and they had another one some time ago. I can't remember the exact year. Kamaru Usman dominated him all through the fight, but in the final round, just from nowhere, he gave Kamaru Usman a head kick that resulted in a knockout, and he won. So if that had not happened, there would not have been any need for even the third fight. So that was what brought about the third fight. And then in the third fight, he has won, however, a controversial win. It's still a win. So let's see what happens. We'll continue to support our guys. We all know that Israel lost a few months ago, about 2-3 months ago, to a Mexican fighter, and they'll be having a rematch sometime this month or next month. And we're also hoping Israel reclaims his title. So we all saw Israel losing, and it was a painful experience. But the only person that has not lost amongst them is Francis Ngannou from Cameroon. He fought his last fight with Cyril Ngannou from France, and he defeated him. And he has his contract with UFC has ended. They were not happy about. A lot of them are not happy about the contract, the way they pay them. They pay them peanuts compared to what boxers are getting. So he's hoping to have his debut in boxing, and we see him, romancing with Tyson Fury, even considering the fight with Deontay Wilder, who is a knockout artist himself. So let's see what happens. We're happy for them, coming from this third world country. So let's see what happens. Wish them well. Now let's move on to another one in international scene also. Of recent, the ICC issued an arrest warrant for Vladimir Putin. We all know Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, who is considered by many to be a dictator. He led an invasion of a fellow country, Ukraine, last year, and the war has been on for like more than a year now. And then the ICC of recent has issued an arrest warrant. We know that the ICC does not really have police force, so they may not be able to, they will definitely not be able to effect their arrest, you know, but it's going to leave a cloak of disgrace and shame for the Vladimir Putin for the rest of his life, because right now he will be the first, you know, major world power president from a major world power country that will be issued the arrest warrant. And what are his offenses? The major offense is the fact that he has been accused of adopting and forcibly moving up to 6,000 people, adults and children, from the occupied territories in Ukraine to Russia, you know, and some of them are orphans, some of them are children, and some of them are adults. And this is unacceptable in the international law. You know, it's a criminal offense, it's a war crime to do something like that. And of course, we know he has committed a lot of atrocities in Ukraine, but they've not indicted him for any of those ones. The only one they've indicted him for, which is so obvious, is blatant disregard for the international community by adopting children and sending them there. But he has said that it is null and void legally, and that it does not apply, or he cannot abide that. He does not even recognize ICC. You know, Donald Trump too now has said that America does not accept or recognize the jurisdiction of ICC over United States. And so what that simply means is that if they commit any offense, they cannot issue an arrest warrant. One of the big persons who has once been issued an arrest warrant in the past was Muammar Gaddafi of Libya. But of course, in spite of that, even though it was an African, it was the president of an African country, it was not, they could not effect the arrest warrant until there was civil war in his country. America assisted the opposition, and then, of course, he was brought down and then killed. But if he had not died in the process, the people who probably took over power would have handed him over to ICC. That's how they do it. It happened in one African country too, I think Sudan or so. You know, by the time the dictator was overthrown, you know, he was ousted from power, he was arrested and sent to ICC for trial. So that's how it happens. So it means that if for whatever reason Russia loses and the opposition loses the war in Ukraine, and the opposition becomes disgruntled, and for whatever reason they're able to, you know, arrest him just to punish him, they may want to send him to ICC, and this kind of offense usually carry life imprisonment. So if eventually it happens, you know, he has himself to blame, because he will be serving the rest of his life behind bar. But if for whatever reason it does not happen, then it will be a constant shame, because even China, Jinping, has not received this kind of humiliation. So it's actually very humiliating, and it's also going to restrict his travels to some countries, because the countries that abide by the ICC definitely may actually want to effect this kind of arrest, though it will lead to war. Something like that cannot happen, but he probably will not want to go there to save himself the embarrassment. And then again, look at it. Do you even think Russia and Putin can be arrested? I don't think so, because Russia is known to be the largest, if not the second, or if not the largest nuclear power in the world. So if you arrest Putin, that's why America is never going into the Ukraine war, and NATO, they're all scared, because they keep saying that they don't have military confrontation with Russia, because they know Russia will definitely use its nuclear power, because it's part of his doctrine that if he feels threatened in any way, anything that will threaten the existence of Russia itself, they will use their nuclear war. So if it comes to conventional warfare, there is no how Russia can match America, not talk of NATO. So definitely he would use his nuclear weapons, and it will be a complete apocalypse, because Russia has enough nuclear bombs to completely extinguish the whole earth. So let's see what happens in that regard. But even that, we also saw, just after that, we saw his confrontation with America over the Black Sea, where his plane, you know, his fighter jets poured fuel on American's drone, and they eventually had a little collision with it that eventually led to the downing of the drone. And Americans did not find that funny. They've issued their warnings, and now this is also there. So, and he has also received the President Xi Jinping of China. So it is really crazy, and we are seeing a lot of intrigue coming here. So let's see what happens. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And then finally, let's move to the local scene. We have this story that has been in the news for some time now. I've been following it of this family in Ogun State. What's the name again? The Fatinoye family. And this news reads, you know, it's on the Tribune. It reads, Fatinoye, then colon. After we threw them inside Ogun River, we saw Felix struggling with water Lekon. So the person making this confession is Lekon, one of the 3 persons who carried out that murder of the Fatinoye family, and he has been arrested. There are 3 of them. I think the other 2 are at large. They took 1 million naira from the family, and immediately they thought they had killed them and threw them inside the river. They saw Felix, the son of the man, struggling, and then they went back to check, only for them to realize that the boy was no longer there. So probably they panicked, and then they abandoned the car. They abandoned the car, took up to about 17 handsets. I even wonder what one family is doing with up to 17 handsets. They took their 17 handsets, and the other 2 requested that they share the 1 million naira. And so according to him, he gave them 550,000 naira their share, and he took his own 450,000 naira, since he was the one who brought the business. And this man was their driver, Lekon. So it means that we have to be very, very careful the kind of people we surround ourselves with, you know, because anybody who is like your driver, your cook, your house girl, your house boy, they know everything about you. They know everything about you. They know it's usually some of them, they know your ATM pin, your password, your email. So we have to be careful. The driver gave them out, and I'm sure they trusted that driver so much that they allowed him to know they're in and out. Even if I thought you don't allow people to know you're in and out, you know, a driver who is your driver can easily still do something like that. So what we should always do is to be security conscious. Make sure you have people, family members around you who know some things about you. Always keep in touch with family members, close ones. And then if you're in an estate, for instance, a landlord association, always let them know some things about you to some extent. Like, for instance, now, when this kind of thing, if the driver was aware of the fact that, you know, a lot of persons probably would show interest in the disappearance of this man, maybe that would have created some form of fear, and he would not have done what he did. But he just felt that these people, maybe they live an isolated life. Even if we do this kind of thing, nobody will know. And he thought that he would get away with it. But thank God they've been apprehended, and let's see what happens. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I remain your boy, Ernest Adebayo Okoje, signing out. Peace.